He is holding the tusk, his own broken tusk, and the left lower hand, yes, sweet. It's a very beautiful philosophical representation. See, the noose, angusa has, is a very small instrument which can control elephant. The huge elephant can be controlled just with that small noose. It is actually, it represents unclutching. Any size mind, elephant size mind can be controlled by a small key, unclutching. The noose represents unclutching. Unclutching is such a powerful key. It looks very small, but the mind, which is wild elephant, can be just controlled with a small noose, with small unclutching. Left hand, the pasha which he holds, pasha means attachment. He does not allow the thoughts to become attachment, engram. See, thoughts, if you add attachment to it, it becomes engram. Because his attachments are under his control, he does not allow thoughts to become engram. One side, thoughts are never becoming engram, they remain as thoughts because pasha is under his control. The other side, because of angusha, even from the thought unclutching happens. So his inner space is completely under his control because of the angusha and pasha. The upper two hands represents the completely peaceful, blissful inner space. And the lower right hand, which holds his own tusk, you need to know the history of the tusk. Once Vyasa requested Ganesha to write Mahabharata, largest poem ever written in the planet Earth, even now, still now, is Mahabharata. Longest and largest poem. Vyasa wants somebody to pen down, because when the flow happens, it's such an extemporaneous, spontaneous flow, he can't pen down. He has to just open it and somebody else has to pen down. He is not able to find anybody for his speed. So he asks Ganesha, can you pen down? Ganesha says, great, sure, I'll pen down. But the speed I write will be too much. If you are not able to cope up with my speed, I'll stop and go away. Then Vyasa puts a condition. All right, I understand. I am also putting a condition. You should write everything only after you understand. So agreement was prepared. So Vyasa's condition is, Ganesha will write only after completely understands, so that Vyasa will have a few seconds at least. So the agreement was ready. Vyasa is supposed to match with the speed of Ganesha, and Ganesha is supposed to understand and pen down everything Vyasa expresses. Suddenly, the Ganesha's pen broke. And now Because this class was not there in the agreement. What to do when the pen breaks? It is whose responsibility? Naturally not Vyasa's, because Ganesha is only penning down. It is supposed to be his responsibility. But Ganesha can't miss, because he has given, as per the agreement, Ganesha has to pen down everything. Even if he miss few seconds, some of the great important truths which Vyasa is expressing will be lost, because the expression is happening in full speed. Banks of Saraswati. Writing is going on. Suddenly the pen broke. Now what to do? Ganesha, he has to complete, he can't miss. And he can't run for pen. If he runs for one more pen, he may miss few words. And he can't tell Vyasa, stop, stop, stop. I'll get another one pen. No. He immediately breaks his own tusk and starts writing. This shows two things. One, his spontaneous decision making. Two, his courage to sacrifice for the cause. Understand? First thing, he is not telling Ganesha, he is not telling Vyasa, stop, 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 I will run and get a pen. And this was not there in our agreement. No. Spontaneous decision making and courage to sacrifice his own tusk. That tusk means courage to sacrifice and spontaneous decision making power. So the upper two hands represents his inner space, pure blissful inner space. The lower right hand represents his ability to take spontaneous decisions and courage and sacrifice for the cause he has taken up. When these three are there, life is a sweet. That is what he means by having the sweet in the lower left hand. The elephant face represents the extraordinary awareness and sensitivity. The elephant's eyesight or the elephant's ability to smell is extraordinary. And his big pot belly represents the whole cosmos. The whole cosmos is inside him. He is the cosmic intelligence. And his mouth represents the playfulness. See, mouse, even though you have little fear, it always creates a kind of a playfulness in you. The playful feeling. Whenever you see it, you start laughing. That is why the Tom and Jerry is so popular. The mouse can create a playful feeling inside your mind all over the world. All over the world in human consciousness, the mouse is always associated with playfulness. He is doing this whole thing so playfully.
Yes, we can now move on. So as you can see, tuning in to Ganesha means imbibing these qualities, where Ganesha holds the Ankusha, Pasha, the tusk, and the Modak. The Ankusha represents unclutching the mind, which is the wild elephant that can be controlled with a small Ankusha, with a small unclutching. The Pasha represents attachment, and he does not allow the thoughts to become attachment engrams. The Modak is the declaration that life will always be sweet like Ganesha's Modak, and the tusk represents the ability to take spontaneous decisions and courage to sacrifice. So, next slide. The unclutched, unattached, spontaneous courage to sacrifice inner space. When you manifest that, you will see life in the inner world, and outer world will be sweet like Ganesha's Modaka, and the whole cosmos will be inside you. So now we will be going into the demonstration of Shaktis, the next segment of today's program. And we will each and every one of us be understanding the various different Shaktis of Paramashiva, the possibility which lies ahead of you. So I now invite the Nithyananda Gurukul Balasans who will be demonstrating for each and every one of us the various different powers of Paramashiva, how these powers actually work, what is the powers of Paramashiva, and how you can manifest these powers as well. So now the Nithyananda Gurukul Balasans from Adi Kailasa Sarvajna Peetham will be guiding us into the next segment of today's program. And we'll be beginning the manifestation of extraordinary Shakti.
Thank you so much, Maniti Nithyananda, for that beautiful introduction to this power manifestation segment. So let us now move on and dive more deeper into this power manifestation session with the blessings of Lord Mahaganapati, as it is the auspicious day of Ganesh Chaturthi today. So today, all of you are going to be witnessing the Balasans, the Nithyananda yogis, and initiated disciples of the Supreme Content of Hinduism, demonstrating the extraordinary Shaktis of Paramashiva to all of you today. We will be demonstrating powers of third eye and body scanning, where all of you will be witnessing one awakening ability to be able to see through the cosmic browsing center, which is located between the two brows, and also the power of body scanning, where one awakens the ability to see and scan illnesses, diseases, medically diagnosed issues, and any problems through the third eye. So let us understand who is the source of all these Shaktis. Paramashiva is the primordial divinity in Hinduism, the ultimate reality and cause, which is self-present, Swayam Prakasha, all pervading, unchanging beyond time, space, form, and causality. Let us learn how we awaken these divine Shaktis. All these divine Shaktis are awakened in us through Diksha. Diksha is the direct transfer of spiritual energy. And let us now see a small video which explains us the power of Diksha, the science of Diksha, and how we get initiated into these powers just by a look, word, or a touch by the divine, by the avatar.
Diksha is the direct transfer of spiritual energy by an enlightened being through look, word, or touch. The traditional Vedic book Navaratneshwara states, Sarva samapi dikshanam Muktihi phalamakhanditam avirodhat bhavantyeva prasangyastu bhuktayah. The main benefit of all initiations is moksha, enlightenment. As a side effect, health, wealth, leadership and well-being happen. And in Rudrayamala Tantra, Shiva says, Devi Diksha Vihinasya na siddhihi na cha sadgatihi tasmat sarva prayatnena guruna dikshito bhavet. The one who is not initiated does not attain liberation nor a better future. So by all efforts, one should get initiated by Guru. What is the science of initiation? Neuroscience has proved that the process of initiation floods the brain with energy. This is the superconscious energy of Kundalini, our own highest inner potential energy. As the Kundalini flows from the thalamus to the cortex, it sets up a powerful energy loop within the brain, which awakens the latent non-mechanical parts which we have never used before. With increasing levels of coherence, the whole brain comes alive, turning into a superconductor of conscious energies that heal, empower, transform our lives, bliss and fulfillment. Initiation creates high awareness, visualization, creativity. It also slows the aging process and improves the immune system. Kundalini awakening, healing experience, levitation, teleportation, materialization. Experience the power of initiation through a range of exclusive programs conducted at the ashram. Nithyananda Dhyanapeetham, Nithyananda
And let us, with a beautiful video which explained what is Diksha, let us now understand the science of power manifestation. So the first is the Shastra Pramana, which is the eternal unchangeable truths, which are revealed in the source scriptures. So these are the Pramanas, which are the evidences, the four aspects of evidences that authenticates the power manifestation, the science of power manifestation. So the second is the Apta Pramana, the experiences and results of Aptas or authorities of Hinduism, Vedic rishis and scientists who have tested and verified this. Third is the Atma Pramana, the account of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. This millennium's avatar's personal experience of power manifestation. And last is the Pratyaksha Pramana, or the empirical evidence from observation and scientific experimentation. So let us now listen to the Shastra Pramana from the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, Dharana 11, Sutra 34. The Shastra Pramana goes, Kapalantar manonyasa tishtan militalochanaha kramena manaso dadyat lakshaye lakshamuttamam. The translation goes, by fixing the mind on the inner space within the crown center and sitting stably without any movement, having the eyes closed in succession, by that stability of the mind and inner space, through the power of the third eye, one directly sees the ultimate goal Laksham, by having the vision beyond the sight that reveals any object or place, attaining the space of oneness with the source Paramashiva. The next is the Apta Pramana, where Bhagavan Shri Krishna initiates Arjuna into the power of third eye. Bhagavan Krishna beautifully initiates Arjuna into the third eye by saying, Natu mam shakyase drashtum manenaiva sachakshusha divyam dadami te chakshuhu pashyame yogamaishwaram. The translation goes, but you cannot see my cosmic form with these physical eyes of yours. Therefore I grant the divine third eye. Behold my cosmic opulence. 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which contains the description of Bhagavan Sri Krishna's cosmic form, is completely narrated by Arjuna as he sees Bhagavan Krishna through the third eye. And next is the Artha Pramana. The Swamiji beautifully shares his experience of how he was able to manifest this power. Let us directly hear in the words of Swamiji himself.
Inside and outside broke. The first experience is that I was able to see everything around me, above me, the whole 360 degree, 10 direction, below me, everything. I realized not only I was able to see, I was able to feel, experience. I felt that the skin of the stone on rock on which I was sitting and the skin of this body both carry me equally. In both I exist equally. The setting sun, rising moon, the whole Arunachala hill, all the plants, bush, shrubs, trees, everything, everything, everything. Just became so alive. The idea, something is inside,
Yes. Last is the Pratyaksha Pramana, the empirical evidence from observation and scientific experimentation. So, the study measures compares metabolic stimulation of the brain in conscious and meditative states using a possible emission tomography, the PET. So, when Swamiji was doing daily activities, so high activities measured in the brain while third eye is located, and when deep state of samadhi, only the third eye region is active and alive, and almost 90% of the brain is at rest and peace. So let us now witness a live Sakshi Pramana for the power of third eye reading done by the Bhavasamadhi of the Nithyananda Paramashivam. I request the slides to stop being shared. Yes. So as all of you can see, I have two extraordinary Balasins along with me, Manitya Virajananda and Manitya Kaladhanananda, who are going to be demonstrating this extraordinary Shakti of the power of third eye to all of you today. And as all of you can see, I have the medically tested eye band with me. In front is a complete opaque sheet, and behind is a thick sponge. And you can see that there's no space, no gap between the eye band, and there's no possible way of light entering in the eye band. So this is a medically certified eye band, and it is completely medically and scientifically proven that even with the eyes open inside the eye band, no light can enter. So these are the eye bands I'm going to be placing on my Vidya and my Kaladra. So as you can see, I'm unstrapping this eye band in front of you and placing it on my Kaladra. Makaladra, are you comfortable? Yes. Yes. So now, all of you now can see Madhuricha's eye band. And I'm going to be unstrapping it in front of all of you. And placing it on. Is Ma Virija, are you comfortable? Yes. Yes. So both Ma Virija and Ma Kaladra are completely comfortable. I request both of you to turn here, right? Left, up, and down. Yes. So all of you can see that there is no gap between Ma Kaladra and Ma Virija's eyeband. I now request the YouTube comments to be projected. My Yoga Prana. Yes. I would request you to recline my eyeband. It is coming out. Yes. It's becoming easy. As you can see, I have retightened the eyeband. Kaladra, I request you to turn to your right. Could you fix my eyeband to come down? Now are you comfortable? Yes. I request you to turn to your right, left, up, and so I request all of you, all the viewers right now, to go ahead and post any comment you want in the Kailasa's HDH Nithyananda YouTube channel on this auspicious day of the Ganesha Chaturthi. You can go ahead, post anything you want, medical terms, scientific terms, emojis, numbers, shapes, letters, anything you want. And Ma Virija and Ma Kaladra are going to be reading out your comments live. Yes, so latest comment in the YouTube channel is by Ma Anna Maria on COU. And she has contributed to Kailasa. So thank you so much for contributing to Kailasa. And yeah, so let's now go ahead to Facebook comments. Yes. So Guru Prasad has Guru Prasad has posted boss. And before that, Elizabeth Day Mentos has posted Nithyananda Swamiji. Nithyananda Swamiji, and the comment before that is from Sri Nithya Amrita Pranananda, and he has posted 3 smiley emojis with 3 hearts on his face. And the previous comment is also from Sri Nithya Amrita Pranananda, and he has posted Om Kam Ganapati. All of you saw how Ma Virija and Ma Kaladra so beautifully were able to read the YouTube comments without any mistake or anything. Ma Virija and Ma Kaladra were so beautifully able to read it just as if their eyes are open. Yes, now the YouTube comments are being projected. I request all of you, all the viewers, to go ahead, post anything you want. Medical terms, scientific terms, words, paragraphs, sentences, letters, numbers, emojis, anything you want. And Ma Kaladra and Ma Virija are going to be reading out your comments live. And also, of course, as per what Paramashivoham says, from the most detailed, we'll be revealing the comments which are there in front of us very precisely, including the colors, shapes, numbers, emojis, anything you post. Yes, and you can go ahead, like you can go ahead, post any emojis, random emojis together, and Ma Virija and Ma Kaladra will be reading out the pattern. Anything you want, you can go ahead and post. And so the Nitya Perumalaya has posted Nithyananda, and he has also posted he has also posted Happy Ganesha Chaturthi everyone with an exclamation mark. Yes, amazing. Ma Nitya Perumal has posted Nithyananda and Happy Ganesha Chaturthi everyone, and that is exactly what has been read out by Ma Kaladra. Amazing. Beautiful. That was a beautiful demonstration of this power of third eye. So now I'm going to be removing the artifact of Ma Kaladra and Ma Birija. Yes. So you can see that Ma Birija Saiban is completely intact along with Ma Kaladra Saiban. There's no change to that. Yes. So now you are going to be witnessing one more extraordinary Shakti. We have a few more minutes left, and you're going to be witnessing the extraordinary Shakti of the power of body scanning. Anyone who wants a body scanning, please go ahead and request in the Kailasa HDH Nithyananda YouTube channel, and the Balasins of the Nithyananda Gurukul will gladly be doing a body scanning for all of you today. So we'll be back right after a short break.
Meanwhile, happy Ganesh Chaturthi for all of you watching us live right now, and you'll be having special darshan of Mahaganapati at 8 p.m. IST. Stay tuned for that. So this is just a preparation for the main mega thing to come up. So yeah, so please stay tuned, and we'll be back right after a short.
Yes. So let us now witness the extraordinary Shakti of body scanning. Just before that, let us move on into the Pramanas. The Shastra Pramana for the power of body scanning comes from the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, Sutra 54. Swadehe jagato vapi sukshma sukshmataraani cha tattvani yani nilayam dhyatvante vyatyate para. The translation goes, cognize deeply that from the subtle to the subtlest constituted principles of your whole body, Swadeha, or of the whole universe, simultaneously consist of the essential reality. They are being absorbed in their source cause Paramashiva, and by the experience of successful awareness, one becomes complete from all the thoughts, and the ultimate universal divine power, Paradevi, Adishakti, is revealed and the supreme power manifestation happens. Next is the Apta Pramana from the life of Siddha named Teriyar. Teriyar was one of the prominent disciples of Agatyar, and one day a man suffering from a severe headache comes to Agatyar for scanning and healing. Agatyar uses the power of body scanning and reveals that there is a small type of Terai, a type of fog, sitting in a person's brain. And Agatyar immediately instructs his disciple Teriyar to perform an open head surgery and remove the fog. Teriyar immediately performs the open head surgery and completes it successfully and completely heals the man. Thus, the disciples gain the name Teriyar. Third is the Atma Pramana, which is from the life of His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. But Swamiji beautifully says, paraphrasing his words, only when I had a multiple compound hand fracture was I forced to go for surgery and therefore for medical checkups. At that time, they detected heavy metal quantity in my different organs, and it was revealed that I had been poisoned without ever knowing. I immediately used diagnostic methods instead of medical facilities to study the body condition. And through the power of body scanning, I found out what the problems and imbalances had happened and why the balance had to be done. I used allopathy as a second opinion just to verify my findings. And last is the Sakshi Pramana. All you can see, disciples and devotees of Swamiji who beautifully shared their experience of the power of body scanning and how they were able to manifest this power of body scanning. And now you are going to be witnessing the live demonstration of this extraordinary Shakti done and being manifested by the Balasins at the Nithyananda. I request all of you to post your comments in the Kailasa HDH Nithyananda YouTube channel. You can post your request for the body scanning, and we'll be back right after a short break. Yes. So I'm back with the Balasins of the Nithyananda Gurukul Vaniti Brahmayogananda, who is going to be demonstrating this extraordinary Shakti of the power of third eye body scanning today for all of you. So I request the YouTube comments to be projected. Okay. Ma Celine G has posted, Ma, can I have a body scanning for my relation with my dad? Yes, Ma, you can surely have a body scanning for your relation with your dad. Ma Brahmayoga, please go ahead. Quickly do the body scanning for Ma Celine G and reveal whatever Paramashiva reveals.
So Masaranji, I did the body scanning for your relation with your dad, and Parameshwar revealed to me that a solution, a way in which you can make the relation, your relation with your dad really good and really close is by praying to Ganesha, making Ganesha your Ishtadevata, always having his bhajans, his songs playing in the house, enriching the father about Ganesha. When he gets enriched about Ganesha, and when he actually sees a miracle happen in his life because of Ganesha, he'll get really connected to the Ganesha, and he'll feel so grateful to you, and both of your relations will really strengthen and will really become nice.
It's amazing. And Marceli, indeed, just tell your father and start enriching him about Ganesha as Paramashiva revealed through the third eye. And Bhagwan Mahaganapati will, of course, perform miracles. And just today, all of us, the Balasins of India and the Gurukul, had a very beautiful miracle in our life, had a very beautiful experience which happened in our life. Today, while we were doing the Mahaganapati Abhishekam, the moment just before the Abhishekam got over, when we turned and took a little flowers just off it, that's when we saw there was kumkum which has materialized on Mahaganapati. So there was a lot of kumkum, and during the Abhishekam, we do not use kumkum at all. And there was so much of kumkum materialized on Mahaganapati, and the kumkum was completely dry. So Mahaganapati accepted the Abhishekam and also materialized kumkum, and it was a beautiful experience which all of us had today with Bhagwan Mahaganapati. So he will continue performing miracles in your life. Just be sincere and connect to Paramashiva, and you will be able to improve your relationship with your dad as Paramashiva revealed through the third eye. So with this, we thank all of you for joining us in this power manifestation segment. We would like to conclude this power manifestation segment due to the interest of time. If anyone was not able to get the body scanning, you can definitely come back every day at 2 a.m. IST and 4 p.m. IST and witness this extraordinary powers of Paramashiva being manifested by the Balasins of the Nithyananda. So with this, we would like to conclude this power manifestation session. We're going to be having Ma Madhura joining with us, who will be teaching all of us about the divine feminine consciousness, about who is Devi Parashi. We thank all of you for joining us. Thank you, Nithyananda. Yes. So we'll be moving on to the next segment right after a short break. Yes. So we'll be moving on to the next segment where you will be learning about Mahaganapati, Bhagwan Mahaganapati, and we'll be moving on to the next segment. Mamadra will be joining us right after a short break. So thank all of you for joining us. Thank you.
Yes. Now let us begin the next segment in today's program and continue from where we were. Yes, we'll now watch this brief introduction to Mahaganapati Paramburul.
Ganesha, he embodies, symbolizes spontaneous completion celebration.
He carries the elephant face, which represents the Omkara. His form is the ultimate, his name is the ultimate.
Very happy about himself, very happy about the universe, very happy about his happening, everything. Just see him, you will be joyful.
Very powerful, like his mother. Easily pleased, like his father.
Extremely compassionate.
He is the ultimate boon giver.
Enjoying, celebrating. He is beyond any procedures, systems. Mischievous, naughty.
A modern day teenage kid who eats left and right happily. He doesn't come under any rule and he doesn't come under any regulation, but he has all the powers and he is embodiment of Sachidananda.
As embodiment of Paramashiva, Mahaganapati Paramburul is sitting with joy and bliss and blessing all of us in Kailasa, listening to our prayers, removing all the obstacles, making all of us experience Paramashiva, oneness. He is really, really real. Even now, he is sitting in Kailasa with 25 elephant heads and 50 hands. As Mahaganapati, he is sitting now alive in Kailasa. He is alive. He is available. He is ecstatic.
Invoke him. He is easy to approach.
Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Just repeat this and call upon him.
Ganesha Chaturthi, the day Mahaganapati Ganesha happened.
Neither trailer, nor suspense, or storytelling, nothing. Straight fact. You are going to see the Ganesha exactly how he is sitting now in Kailasa.
And this beautiful photograph is from Ganesha Chaturthi in 1989. Circled in this photograph is the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself, the first group of Kailasa's volunteers, as referred to by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, inspired and trained by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself. And Ganesha Chaturthi of 1989 is the earliest recorded public address and grand festival of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, which was organized by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, were the first volunteers and organizers of Kailasa.
And this event took place inside the Arunachaleshwara temple in Tirunelveli on the 5th circumambulation path inside the temple, where traditional grand rituals were offered to Ganesha, consecrated under the banyan tree, and this banyan tree is actually from the same sapling as the one located in Adi Kailasa Nithyananda Paramashivam in Bengaluru Adinam, Karnataka.
To celebrate this momentous occasion, Alankaram was done by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, offered to Ganesha, and the photograph of this beautiful photograph is of the youth organizers of the occasion, and this photograph is the Alankaram which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself had done.
And the first adored deity of Lord Ganesha was worshipped by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism since the age of 3. So at the tender age of 3, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism exemplified the subtle sacred teaching of practicing the presence of God. And through this deity, even in mundane daily activities such as bathing, eating, sleeping, and other activities, thereby infusing the superconscious energy of the deity into each and every moment of life, which is the Hindu or Kailasa lifestyle. So in 1981, Lord Ganesha eats the food offered by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism.
And it is through this deity that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism teaches how to manifest any desired reality through deep bhakti, devotion, and tyaga, the blissful sacrifice. Once, when offering Naivedyam to Ganesha, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism decided not to eat, sleep, or even move until his beloved deity partook in his food offering. And responding to his intense tapas, Ganesha, the Lord who holds the divine joy in his hands as the Modaka, as Mudhakarata Modaka, appeared in front of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and ate the food which was offered to him.
And at that moment, Ganesha incarnated in the form of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism as the fruition of his presence, and thenceforth, that tapas itself started serving the whole world with the science of enlightenment, Sadavimukti Sadhaka. And for this very reason, any spiritual seeker can experience the same transcendental experience of Ganesha just by listening or reading about his divine manifestation in the life of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism.
And today, millions are initiated into this same space of power manifestation and demonstrating the science of manifestation of gods the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has received.
Ganesha, he embodies, symbolizes spontaneous completion celebration. He carries the elephant face, which represents the Omkara. His form is the ultimate, his name is the ultimate. Very happy about himself, very happy about the universe, very happy about his happening, everything. Just see him, you will be joyful. Very powerful, like his mother, easily pleased, like his father, extremely compassionate. He is the ultimate boon giver. Enjoying, celebrating. He is beyond any procedures, systems, mischievous, naughty. A modern day teenage kid who eats left and right happily. He doesn't come under any rule and he doesn't come under any regulation, but he has all the powers and he is embodiment of Sachidananda. As embodiment of Paramashiva, Mahaganapati Paramburul is sitting with joy and bliss and blessing all of us in Kailasa, listening to our prayers, removing all the obstacles, making all of us experience Paramashiva, oneness. He is really, really real. Even now, he is sitting in Kailasa with 25 elephant heads and 50 hands.
And the Shastra Pramana for this comes from the Vedas and Agmas, and it speaks about how the power of devotion and its powerful manifestation from Paramashiva's own words. So it says, Bhaktyudreka dviraktasya yadrishi jayate matihi sa shakti shankari nityam bhavayetam tata shiva. And this comes from the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, Sutra 21, Dharana 96. And the translation for this verse is, by the intensity of devotion or pure love for the divine, when the detachment arises in your mind beyond the intellect, that is the Shakti of Shankari, the power of divine consciousness. The intellect, Mati, is transformed into divine consciousness. Then, by the constant space of devotion, you will become one with Shiva.
Now, we'll be understanding from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself the beautiful narration of the incident from his life on feeding Ganesha and how Ganesha manifested through his very beloved deity.
I can tell this story which happened in my life. It's a little mystical, but it is truth. So I'll share with you all. The young age, I used to go to the many satsangs. So every day some satsangs, something will be going on. Those days I used to have small Ganesha with me, and I'll do puja every day to that Ganesha. I'll pour water, put little food in front of Ganesha and wave the lights, wave the camphor. It was really like I was living with him. It was not just doing some little puja or anything. Living with him. Strong feeling connection. See, if you are just doing puja for some other reason, you will never enter into that place again second time. I have seen many people doing puja. Morning they will go into that puja room, dum-dum, 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 dum-dum. They will roll with that deity and pour water or whatever needs to be done. Once they come out, they will never even turn that side again. Because it is such a heavy routine on them, dead routine on them, they never do the mistake of entering into that same room again second time. But with me it was like a living with him. Whole day I'll be sitting, fanning him, or doing whatever I can. Anything given to me, I'll bring it and put it in front of him. I was living with him, small boy. I went to one satsang. That teacher, Acharya, who was talking, he was narrating an incident from a saint's life. His name is Nambiyandar Nambi. He was born and brought up in South India. Great saint. His life story that master was describing, it's a very beautiful story, that his father used to worship one Ganesha in one Ganesha temple every day. One day the father fell sick. Then he asked the son, please you go on, do the worship. And son goes with the food and all the worship articles. He does the sacred bath and does all the things and puts the food in front of Ganesha. And the son thinks really Ganesha will eat every day. He's doing first time. So he thinks Ganesha is supposed to eat. And he is sitting, waiting for Ganesha to eat. Half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, food is there. And this guy started worrying. What happened? Did I do anything wrong? You are not eating. And he started talking. Of course, no response. Then he started telling, if you don't eat, if I go back,
My father may fire me. He may shout at me. Please do something. If I have done some mistakes, forgive me. Please eat. Of course, Ganesha is very silent. If they start eating, who will put the food in front of them? Anyhow, he was silent. Then he became very serious. The Nambi, the saint, he became very serious. He said, no, you have to eat. Please eat. Otherwise, see the Shraddha, beautifully the Upanishad says, Kathopanishad says, Shraddha Vivecha. When he is describing about Nachiketa, a Upanishadic hero, they use the word Shraddha Vivecha. He was possessed by Shraddha. Sometime, rarely this happens to even you. You can see, some very difficult time, suddenly you decide, I'll be very straight and honest and dharmic. I'll not bend. You know, if you little adjust, tell one lie, or alter the word, you can escape from the situation. It can be eased, but suddenly sometime you feel, no, I'm going to be very straight. Come whatever may. Those few moments, you are possessed by Shraddha, the truth. Shraddha Vivecha, a very powerful word. Possessed by Shraddha, truth, trust. That Shraddha Vivecha happened to this Nambi. Suddenly, he felt Ganesha has to eat. He has to eat. He starts weeping. He says, till you eat, I am not going to leave this place. 5-6 hours over, but food is there, Ganesha is sitting. Then he goes to the extreme, suicidal threat. He says, I'll hit my head in these steps and die if you don't eat. And starts hitting his head. Of course, don't try. Don't try. The TV, in the motor ads, the car ads, they say, closed lanes and professional drivers, don't try. Same way, saints tried, you don't try. When that Shraddha Vivecha happens, you are in a different plane. Even the doubt does not exist. He just knows that Ganesha is going to eat. He started hitting his head, and the story says, suddenly Ganesha appeared and ate the food and blessed him. And that saint, that small boy, he goes back to his father. Father asks, what happened? Where is the food? He said, Ganesha ate. Father could not believe. Ganesha ate or did you eat? He said, no, Ganesha ate. If you want, come. I'll show you. Then he takes the father. There, the father sees the mouth of Ganesha, the food, the remains. The story says, father fell at the feet of the son, said, all these years, I was only doing it as a ritual. You made it as reality. You made it as truth. When I heard this story, suddenly I decided, I'll also feed Ganesha. That Shraddha Vivecha happened. Means possessed by that Shraddha. Strong. See, when you are possessed by Shraddha, you will not have Kudarka at all. Understand? You will not have Kudarka. You may ask me, why? When you heard the story of Nambi, you tried, but you are telling us not to try. See, in my case, there was no Kudarka at all. If there is no Kudarka, you are also a professional. You can try. But you see inside, one corner of you, there is a Kudarka. That's why I am saying, till that Kudarka disappears, don't try. Especially these risky techniques. I decided I'll also make Ganesha eat. Let me tell you what all the mistakes I did and how I had this kudarka. See, when I heard the story, I decided I will also make my Ganesha eat. This is darka, simple logic. When he made Ganesha to eat, why not me? Simple darka. The next step was
Yes, now we'll be watching a video on Kutarka as Swamiji narrates.
See, in my house, it's a joint family. I had one old lady, one of my grandmothers. Means it's like many people will be staying, you don't know who is who and who is what. And not only that, 3-4 streets are relatives. That's the way the Indian communities will live. The 3-4 street will be your cousin, cousin brother, nephew, name it, and they will be there. And they will marry just inside the family and relatives. So, this old lady, if the kids are not eating, she will always threaten them. Hey, I'll put you inside the well. The center of the house, there will be a huge well. I'll put you inside the well. She will shout. So I heard only that logic. So naturally, what will I do? I went and put a little food in front of Ganesha and told him, eat now. When I saw half an hour he did not eat, I started using the same thing. Hey, I'll put you in the well. Kudarka, please understand. Because I heard only that, see, this satsangi, the teacher, he taught me darka. This environment, this old lady, she taught me kudarka. The same way, I started shouting. I told she will use all the old Tamil words to threaten. I started using all those words. Better you eat now, or you are going to be in the well. And Ganesha was there silently. I decided, I am going to put him in the well. And usually what she does, I have seen, she will take the kid in the hand and take little food in the other hand, and she will show the well. See, I will drop you, These kids will shout, cry. They will open the mouth, she will put the food inside. When the kids start crying, they will actually open the mouth, she will put the food inside. Then it will go. That's the way she will feed. I decided I will also do the same thing with Ganapati, with that Ganesha. I took the Ganesha in one hand and food in the other hand. I showed the well, hey, see the well, I'll throw you inside. And he's not opening the mouth. I tried 2-3 times. Then I decided there used to be a vessel in which they will take the water from the well. I put the Ganesha in that vessel. I started lowering, threatening him. See, I'll really drown you. I'll really drown you. And when the vessel was about to touch the water level, suddenly I realized, maybe now he would have changed the mind and he wants to eat, but there is no food in the vessel. So I brought him out, put the food also in the vessel, and started doing again. And it was almost in the water level, that vessel. That bucket is in the water level, but nothing is happening. I did not have the mind to really put the Ganesha into the water also. It was too much. He really means a lot for me. And it's a very strong relationship. So I can only threaten. I cannot put him in the well, actually. So what to do? Finally, I took him out. I said, all right, maybe he did not like the cooking. He did not like the food. See how the kudarka works. I used to do a lot of that kind of work. So I asked that cook, will you give me a little food for my Ganesha? So he said, what little food? Have more. He gave one big lot. I brought it to the
So, the Supreme Point of Hinduism says, somebody asked me, Swamiji, why in our graveyards, tombstones, we put the date of birth and the date of death? I tell them, in common man's life, nothing much happens between the two. That is only thing which can be mentioned. Nothing else is worthy of mentioning. So what else to tell? Birth and death. Over. So Kudirka keeps you in a very shallow way. So now let's do a small internalizing exercise for a few minutes. So you can pen down 3 incidents in your life when you negated simple possibilities of life with Kudirka. For example, Swamiji's avatar. He may manifest powers. I have so many fears. I cannot manifest powers. So, like this, you can pen down. Yes, let us now move on. So now let's all watch a video where Swamiji speaks about Vitarka, where Swamiji in his own words explains the Vitarka, science of Vitarka.
practically I fixed all the problems. Whatever I am supposed to do. See, if my grandmother does all these things to any child, the child eats. And I know only those techniques. I don't know any other techniques. I have not read any book how to feed Ganapati or how to feed kids. Whatever manual was there in front of me, that whole thing I worked. Nothing works. Nothing is working. So I was sitting. The Ganapati was lying there. So I was sitting. One nice thing with Shraddha, trust is, even if you start with Kudarka, the power of trust is such, the power of Shraddha is such, it turns the whole thing to Vidarka. Please understand. God, I can say this was one of the powerful click happened in my life. Very strong click. I realized that Nambiyandar Nambi, the saint who made Ganesha to eat, when the click happened, I thought, right, Yes, he found fault with himself inside. In my case, I was complaining about Ganesha, I was trying what my granny was trying, and I was talking about the diet, and I was thinking that my mother is not cooking properly, and I was thinking everything outer world. I was doing kudarka. I was finding fault with everything external. Suddenly I realized, yes, I have to turn and look in. Look in. The problem must be within me. Let me work. That vitarka, click has happened. The right reasoning, that click has happened. Please understand, it was a very strong click. Yes. With Nambiyandar Nambi, he did tapas. But in my case, I am torturing Ganesha. Let me do tapas. When the click happened, see, a strong Shraddha is already there. Shraddha is like a loaded gun. When that right vidarka happens with Shraddha, it's like a triggering the gun. Without Shraddha, without that strong trust, the kudarka can never become vidarka. The wrong reasoning can never become right reasoning. When the right reasoning happens, trigger was pulled. Just the trigger was pulled. The loaded gun. Trust is like a loaded gun. And when right reasoning happens, vidarka happens, it's triggered. The trigger is pulled. Understand? Suddenly the click happened. Yes. It's time. I look inside. I turn inside and change something in me. Then I decided, now I am not going to eat till Ganesha eats. It's a strong will. Even in those days I used to be very strong. Strong will. Once I decide, it has to happen. That's all. I was sitting with Ganesha, brought the food, arranged everything. I was sitting. Actually, I used to have a small shrine, kind of temple, backside of the house, my own. I'll be staying and spending time only in there. I can say that is the first ashram I built for myself and for my deities. I used to be spending my time there only. So nobody will disturb me in the house. Usually they will send the food or I'll go and bring my food for the food time. Otherwise I'll be spending time there only. So I sat with all the arrangements for Ganesha to eat. I'm very clear because of the trust, the Shraddha, no doubt that he may eat, may not eat. See, if he does not eat, there is some problem with me, that's all. But the very incident itself, there is no doubt. The possibility, the Ganesha came and ate in that Nambiyandar Nambi's life, that incident is a reality for me. The factuality of that incident, I never questioned. When the right reasoning happened, with the trust, I was sitting with the Ganesha, one day over, and the food is there. I was very strong, no question of eating. No question of eating, till you eat. So I food in front of Ganesha and I'll sit. I'll remove the old food, throw it away and sit. One day was over, one night was over, and I was not even sleeping. I was sitting. And again, second day is also over. I was very strong. See, a small boy without food, naturally the logic will be imbalanced. The willpower will come down. I said, nothing doing. I'm going to do it. Till he eats, I'm not going to eat.